Alright. Hello again, this is the Sanity Trance. I have found a newfound inspiration in the worst of situations. So this is day 2 of me on that momentum. I think it was yesterday or the day before I finally managed to get moving just by intending a better anything, you know, and I don't need inspiration to have an intention, and if my intention is big enough, it'll eat all of my temporary elusive desires. I don't know. It's like all the different emotions I go through, you can almost feel like they're different people with different characteristics, you know. It's just like whatever I decide to attach myself to, it's attached to more of a desire, and yeah, I try to identify with that desire more than it is even me. It's like, you know, the idea that you're not your thoughts and that whole thing. I'm just, hold on. Oh, okay, cool. Just making sure this is like loud enough, I guess. Anyway, I've been stuck in my head going crazy for a while now, and I think it's been really interesting because of the place that I've found. I've kind of occupied for years now, and it's like being in the eye of the hurricane, you know. It's like the hurricane's never going to stop. That's just life in general. It's predictable, and you're not going to depend on that. So to be sitting in the eye of it is more like not really being affected by what's going on and being able to navigate clearly, and right. And it's weird because it's like it seems more than anything nowadays I'm navigating with my gut, and then also my mind, of course. But like, it's been interesting because it's like it's not out of like an egotistical place of achievement or any of that stuff. I'm not trying to accomplish anything. It's like from where I'm at, it's when it's time, you know. When it's time to make something and do something, it'll go through me, you know. I won't have to force it. But that's the exact thing. If I have to force it, that already means my body doesn't feel right, and I gotta pretend that it does until it does, fake it till I make it or something. I don't know. It's like, I mean, it's doable. It's just when it's time again. But for me, it's been really neat to see where that actually takes me. You know, it's like I feel like I'm supposed to have been way more stressed out about life at this point in my life, and especially now with everything going on, as the situations just keep getting crazier around the world. I feel like it's more tempting than ever to kind of not know what to do or what's the point, you know. And what I've noticed is when you're in flow and when it feels right, doing whatever you're actually doing, you know, when your best characteristics are the most needed characteristics in a situation, and it's like putting a fish in the water. That whole thing, it's like where you don't have to think, and it just all kind of happens. Just matter of fact, you know. It's like just the presence of certainty, just for a second. I've been just noticing how it's that place comes from certain activities, and certain activities come from certain prioritizations of certain results over others, you know. And just depending on what you're trying to do, the order that you do it, these foundations, as they stack in different orders, will give you different influences at different times. And as long as you can stay open-minded about it, you can probably make the most of whatever is available and discard the rest if needed, you know. But we're really good at doing that anyway, you know. It's just great survivalism, how much we don't have to really worry about, so we can worry about some other concepts instead, you know. Like I'm terrible. I could afford to study maps more and how to and the GPS factor of things, but the fact that exists, all that technology exists, and I don't have to think about that, gives me more time to really ask who is the thinker, who is the experiencer here, what's really going on. But yeah, from the latest observations of that very concept on myself, in these moments of flow, when all these verbs are happening that are correct to me in my body, it's very, it's created the life path that I'm on now, where it's just like everything is creativity and becoming to synchronize with that. As I get better at whatever field I'm in, it's like the further I get, the more the lines just kind of blur, and it's like, there was like there was dances of mastery present even in the very beginning stages if I would have just noticed that, but it's just, that's one of the most fun lessons you get at the very end, was it was always there, but anyway, it feels like, to go full circle and tie everything up that I'm explaining here, it feels very selfish to just chase flow and let my body tell me what is and what isn't. And I've studied the idea of perception enough, and understanding different perspectives are always possible and plausible even. And the willingness to say maybe I'm wrong very quickly leaves me with the data I'm about to explain, because it's like, when I feel like I'm not in the right place, on the other hand of the spectrum, my body feels like it's on fire from the inside. And it's like not like a burning fire as much as it is just like a goopy type of burn that just expands like a balloon in several different areas of my body all at the same time. It's really weird. It's just, all I know is I don't like it, and it makes me really tense, and I feel like it's interesting to pretend that, that's not real, or, try to even say maybe I'm wrong with something like that, right? And what's great about that when it comes to something so physiological is maybe you are wrong. Maybe you're just being stupid and imagining something that didn't happen at all, and it's really messing with your body, but it's like you believe it so hard your body believes it too. But questioning that, and yet still being willing to see it that way, and then as time goes on, still feeling that way, and still deciding maybe I'm wrong after all the data, after a couple of repetitious patterns. You still feel the same. Like, that job you don't like, that one person that just freaks you out. I don't know. There's a million examples. And it seems like, no matter how much you may wish your body was wrong, or maybe I'm wrong, it's like you still keep returning to those feelings. There's something real there, even if whatever isn't real. It's like the target isn't, even if the whatever suggested target isn't real, it's like the concept of like there's something wrong on a more subconscious, maybe general level. Those things I probably feel like I'm going to put front and center for a while in my life, because it's like I feel like I have expression problems. Either I do, or I am just too concerned with other people's well-being that I don't want to be the one that ruins anyone's day. It's like, I don't know. It's the way I'm wired. It's like I don't want to let you down is the name of my baggage or something. It's really interesting. But if you can name it, at least you can do something about it. But all that being said, yeah, it's like to follow my gut that hard is, it feels selfish. But then whenever I'm in that mode, in flow, it's like I am the most help I've ever been to the entire world. It's like nobody denies that. Nobody. And I've been loving it, because it's like, for me, it's like all I've done is try to follow my heart over everything else. And it's like probably out of balance there. But to me, that's what matters the most. It's like if I can't be spiritually present, then everything else I missed it. I didn't even know it was real. And it's tragic how common that is. And that's okay. This is if you know about it, you understand, but it's always something that's great to remember, because it's like we have to recognize to be able to recognize these things, and that's what's been super cool. It's like the place that I exist in now, I'm only going crazy because of the other people in my life, circumstantial webs, but my occupation and what I decide to do with my time, and the fact that I can still feel creative in spite of all this adversity, if you want to call it that. I'm just stoked that it's working as the one having to go through it in some extent, you know. And so in this situation, whatever you feel inspires you. If you just, that's your body talking to you, man. And it's like your body knows where it belongs, even if you don't, you know. It's the weirdest thing. I've been writing stuff and being creative since I was like 3, playing on my sister's keyboard or whatever. And it's like, it's never slowed down. And, I didn't know I was going to do any of that. I didn't even care. And I couldn't tell you what I wanted to be when I grew up, when they told me a musician wasn't an option, you know? So it's been funny just becoming a creator instead, like realizing that that's what we were really doing, was becoming better at communicating and creating cool communicative messages that can launch us all forward by some light years if we can help it, you know? Especially in a few different concepts of growth, you know. Sagehood is sagehood. Every single path is the same psychological phases that we all have to go through, and different chapters for different people happen at different times, and the order all that happens is what makes this so much fun, is because you'll never get the same robot, but we'll all be singing the same songs down to the core of, like, once we all start chasing the truth about it, you know. It's amazing how that path works, you know. It's like you're going for the visceral survival, fun, sensory things about it first, and then those are things that kind of get you into any kind of field. And then as you get better at it, you want to master it and feel the power of that mastery. And then once you get tired of that whole idea, you start to realize that, like, you're really just chasing the highest possible level of consciousness. So some people were like, I'm just trying to find God in this, you know. And then once you realize the ubiquitousness, maybe, like, just just how entirely inside of this whole thing we are, all you can do is be one with it, and then it's like, okay, now you have the conviction to do whatever you want for the rest of your life, you know. It's like, that's early access to heaven right there. Because if let's say all that is true, and you end up in an eternity of, you know, time, how else would you use this, you know? What else is it for? So the quicker you can make sense and make friends with all that, you know, you can just realize that everything you're looking for is right here and now. And if I just want to be present for that and remember it correctly, then I got to really be here to remember it right. And, yeah, I'm trailing off real hard, I guess. But at the same time, I'm not. I feel like if you know what you're doing with your life, based on the amount, on the way your body feels, and you just let it lead you to a place of altruism more than an egocentric thing, you know, you can find the intersection of selfish and selfless. Like, you can still do exactly what you're trying to do, and there's a way to do what you're doing that would help everyone. It's a tightrope, because it's always moving. It's just a balance thing, but it's like, you know, when it's worth doing one thing versus not worth another, out of just trying to be present of the whole room and asking what everybody thinks, and then weighing everything. It's like running a city almost, you know? And all I'm trying to do is just live, right? I don't know. I know I have these gifts, and they have put me in a position that I occupy that's got its ups and downs, just like anything else, you know, and my body just knows that this is what it does. This is it. And these are my strengths. And so put them where they belong, you know. I mean, if you feel like you're a paranoid, hyper-investigative type person, you might make an amazing detective. I mean, I don't think any of this needs to be discounted or hated on, or, you know, I believe in creativity so much, and I believe in people so much, and I believe in ideas so much, and I believe in potential so much that it almost hurts me to cut any of that off, you know. And I don't know. It's like, I just feel like it's a gift in its own right to be able to play that game, because whatever happens to me, you know, it's not going to be near as debilitating as if it had happened to someone who wouldn't have access to that way of thinking, you know. But regardless, it seems to be when you find your highest calling and you go do that and you do it to the highest degree on as many dimensions as you possibly can, you seem to find it's the most selfish thing you can do, but it's also the most selfless thing you can do. It's weird, but I'm noticing it's just a side effect. It's nothing to aim for. It's just if you can feel, if your body feels good and you can feel like you minimize the collateral damage of your decisions, because everybody's going to be offended by everything, you know? It's probably the worst characteristic about humanity. I don't know. But anyway, that's really all I'm trying to say. It's just, if you don't know what you're doing with your life and you don't have the words for what you want to do with your life, that might be the first step, is learning the vocabulary of whatever field you're interested in. And then you can Google it and go from there, and then reality can happen. But for the rest of us, like me, who kind of grew up around a whole bunch of people who didn't quite know how to say the words I needed to hear, my body didn't need it. My body had led me real apathetically, almost. And yet at the same time, it was the only thing I could care about. It was the only thing worth caring about in life to me, at the time, was music. And it's all I got at the same time. And it's like, it has made everything else possible to appreciate. It's been able to make everything appreciable. There you go. I don't know. Appraisal, you know? I love that concept. But yeah. So as you continue to go forward being yourself on this crazy spinning planet going God knows where, enjoy it. It's all you got. And I hope you feel it on so many senses that you become aware of a new dimension of thinking that might lead you to another way to listen to your body consciously, so that way you can consciously have the confidence and the conviction to move forward with your actions. Happy stacking, everybody. Peace.